We're live on YouTube. YouTube.com/ you can actually find me at Greg the Asshole, believe it or not. That's actually a URL. I usually don't tell people that, but it's like long before anything in politics, I grabbed the whatchamacallit. I grabbed the URL Greg the A-hole. So that's the case. Hey everyone, welcome to Project Canada. This is my man Dat Buzz.
This is Greg Wycliffe.
And here we are live on a beautiful Sunday, July 25th. And we are talking about a lot of fun stuff today. A lot of twisted, messed up stuff, actually. How would you describe it? How would you describe the state of our country in a sentence?
Canada's on fire, man. If it's not the West, it's the East. Like, I've just recently heard, I didn't know when, the fog situation was going on. We had that red, crimson red sunsets that were happening.
I saw some of those. Those were pretty eerie looking.
It was like, what? Is that the moon or is that the sun? I was so confused, but I was like, dude, it's forest fires that are happening all over Canada, and it's just making
it doesn't look like
air quality kind of shot to shit.
It doesn't look like a doomsday scenario at all.
Not at all.
Weird glowing sun. I saw that weird photo. That was really strange. But real quick, we're gonna go over 3 topics today. We're gonna try to make Project Canada more concise for you guys, to just kind of get right into the nitty gritty, go through a few topics, and entertain you on a Sunday. The 3 topics are, we're going to talk about the Lamport, am I saying that right? Lamport Stadium?
Lamport, Tent City.
The tent cities that has recently been raided by the police.
I think it's the second or third, Trinity Bellwoods.
There was Trinity Bellwoods that happened earlier, so we'll be diving into that topic. Number 2, we'll be talking about these fires that have been happening not just in Northern Ontario, but also in Saskatchewan, I believe, also BC. They're happening all over the country. Yeah. And definitely some interesting stories there. And then finally, we'll be talking about, we're going to use the J word because we don't want the medical tyrants to crack down on this YouTube channel.
Or the techno tyrants.
So the J word is jab. And jab is for... injection, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But specifically, we'll be talking about the cocktails, mixing and matching jabs. Pretty interesting. Essentially, Canada has its own kind of, just trust the science, guys. It changes every 5 minutes.
Trust the science.
It's not that complicated. Shout outs to everybody in chat. We're also live on TikTok, so hello everyone there. If you are watching on TikTok, you can follow me at Greg the Asshole. But if you are watching, subscribe to, if you're watching on YouTube, rather, go into the description and click on that link and subscribe to our new channel. We're almost at 200 subscribers. We need to get 1,000.
Let's get to 1,000,
to get there. So we are going to open it up with talking about Lamport stadiums. I guess we'll go to this video first. All right, so we're going to pop on this video real quick. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Where's the play button?
To be a better way and are hoping that their concerns are listened to.
We have been making a continuous effort every single day to get people to come in on a voluntary basis. We have made 20,000 visits to people resident in the encampments over the last few months to talk to them day after day about coming into different forms. We've taken people on tours of the housing accommodation that's available.
We're expecting things to potentially get rather hectic, so I think what you're kind of feeling is that tension of the potential for violence.
Oh.
To be a better way and are hoping that their concerns are listened to.
You know him, Mr. John Tory. He loves to say this. I just want to go back to this because he says this all the time. I feel like this is all John Tory ever says.
We have been making a continuous effort every single day
to
get people to come in on a voluntary basis. We have made 20,000 visits to people resident in the encampments over.
And what has come of those 20,000 visits, Mr. Tory?
How much resources do you think it's spent on 20,000 visits from paramedics, social workers, and police? How much money goes out into that? And the one thing I want to know is, the restrictions on COVID and how they uphold on those standards and how they reflect things like homeless shelters, if they're at capacity or if they're like using 30% capacity, 50% capacity rates. I want to know if that kind of contributes to what we're seeing out on the streets with these tent cities going up.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because when all these issues come up, it always seems to be just the surface level thing that happened, the event. And we all talk about the event, and everyone kind of like, there's a line drawn in the sand of, oh, what do you feel about, and like there's no continuum of a conversation happening.
No. Because
it's, housing is related to this encampment, which is related to the city telling the cops to get these people out of here. And it's never seems to be a continuous conversation. It just goes to a clip of John Tory saying, "Oh well, we've been working very hard."
20,000 visits, but what has come of those 20,000 visits? Like,
and what are we working towards?
They're showing homeless people tours of where they could possibly live, and that's it. That's it. Like they said that they've done their diligence in their work, right? But what have they like what? What's there a show for it? Because we're still seeing all these tent cities pop up everywhere. When you move the homeless from one area of the city, they're just going to show up somewhere else, like whack-a-mole.
Like whack-a-mole, yeah. And this topic of homelessness goes straight into affordable housing. I would even say it goes into like immigration rates, because something like 60 to 70% of newcomers to Canada go to the major city centers. And there just never seems to be like a cohesive conversation to connect the dots on everything that's going on, and let's go to the kind of the next item here. Well, should we have John Tory getting yelled at?
Yeah, we can run through it for a couple seconds.
Let's throw this one up for a sec here. You guys may have seen this clip. We'll just play the beginning of it. But John Tory was out having dinner somewhere, having some steak tartare, and he was attacked by somebody with criticisms.
Who it is, everyone? It's the man who's destroyed every small business in the city. Mr. Tory, how's it going?
All right, thank you very much. Yeah.
So, how do you feel being here, knowing that you've destroyed every small business? Don't you feel guilty?
Actually,
being here in
I'm just trying to
public,
have dinner.
knowing that all these people here
I'm just trying to
have been
be...
affected by your draconian measures? Do you have anything to say about that?
people here tonight, we're just having dinner, but the people here tonight have actually said that this program that's put all these extra patio seats out here is something they really welcome, and they're very enthusiastic about it.
How do you feel that you've destroyed? How many families have you destroyed? How much child mental health have you destroyed?
Beet red.
How many
Turning beet
businesses
red right
have you
now.
Getting
destroyed
mad,
for your
like-
policies? Do you feel any guilt or regret for what you've done to this city?
They're
Do
actually
you feel any guilt or regret for what you've
I feel
done?
very badly about it, but I feel even worse about the 4,000 people in Toronto that died from COVID-19. And we saved lives.
How many
4,000
families have been
people.
affected by you?
He said 4,000 people have died from Toronto?
Of the CV of the COOF, yeah. I wonder how many people have overdosed. I wonder how many people have committed suicide in Toronto. I'm not trying to denigrate the deaths from the
Deaths
COOF,
from another side,
but
yeah.
it's this is a pretty good video if you guys haven't seen this. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of disgusting later on when look at this. Look at this. You have like multiple people like standing up for Tory, being like, yeah.
They removed themselves from their dinner place just to stand up for
Yeah. And it's like, hey, we're going to protect
the mayor.
like, the royalty that is John Tory or something like that. And a lot of people kind of show up to defend him. I love this clip the most.
Yeah.
I got to play this clip.
Play it
I've
up.
watched this a couple times.
Hey, you're ruining our dinner if you don't mind.
You're ruining our dinner.
Nice dinner.
That's what they care about, dinner.
How many lives has this man ruined?
Hey, how many lives are you ruining right now?
How many the audacity. That's what you call privilege right there. The guy just said, bring that back for a second. He said, how many lives are you ruining right now? We're trying to have
So
dinner.
crazy, man. You're ruining our dinner.
Hey, you're ruining our dinner if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm ruining your nice dinner. How many lives has this man
Hey,
ruined?
how many lives are you ruining right now?
Oh, how many lives are you ruining right now,
What a
bro?
You need to catch this guy's
I'm
face.
just trying to have my dinner right now, and you've
Oh my
ruined
God.
it. And this is the thing. We have so many people who claim to care about this or claim to care about that. And the term I'm kind of exercising and using is politically illiterate. Like they're illiterate as in like they don't know how to spell or whatever. Like they don't know how politics work. They don't know how to like hold people accountable. And this kind of like vicious defense of John Tory, for example, and it's like, oh, because when you criticize SNC Lavalin, for example, and people will say, oh, well, you know, bribes happen and like that's just the way politics is. Have you ever heard this take from people?
No.
You never heard that take?
I don't accept it, and I never heard it.
Well, when you press people about how corrupt the Liberals are or corruption that's happening, they'll of course say, oh, well, the Conservatives do it too. Or they'll do this thing where it's like, yeah, well, you know, the system just sucks, bro. Like, it just sucks, bro. And like, let me have my dinner. You know, like it's this weird sort of.
It's the upholding of the status quo for the like very few that are privileged right now. If you've noticed something from when
fewer and fewer.
If you noticed when the COOF began, right? We were giving people like terminologies to distinguish who we are. So I am essential, and you're non-essential. So I should put some kind of feeling of like I'm doing the right thing. I'm helping humanity.
Yeah.
I'm storming the beaches of Normandy. I'm above society right now because of the fact that I'm an essential worker. But we didn't give that kind of respect, the same kind of leeway towards actual essential workers that were like truck drivers that were bringing in the food that we need to survive to eat, the grocery store clerks, the workers. We didn't really give two things about them, but it was more or less this class hierarchy of doctors and nurses were at the top of the food chain, and nobody could talk to them about anything because they're upholding the status quo. Now we got guys like this that don't care about our medical freedoms or even our businesses or our livelihoods getting taken away. So as long as it doesn't bother his privileged little meal, that's it.
Yeah. A couple of funny comments in chat here on YouTube are, how is the gay man have a girlfriend? I didn't know that about John Tory, but I have seen him getting lap dances from drag queens on Mother's Day, as we all know. Trent Dabbs also says, the people in charge of the governments around the world are liars and thieves, and they don't care about you or me or the children. They care about themselves and their bank accounts.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Go ahead.
I do believe, I don't want to like keep going and beating it like a dead horse, but we've talked about this before. We've talked about how some leaders that go against the grain kind of get swept under the rug or taken away, taken
called names and all that stuff,
or even trying to be taken away out of this plane of existence. We've had the Haitian president, right? We've had the Tanzanian president that died of mysterious illness, which I think it's a bio hazard. I don't want to say weapon, right? Bioarm, I will say. And then we've had also a new update. The president of Madagascar survived an assassination attempt, and so did the president of Mali just last week.
Really?
And they're all adamantly against the V to the J.
The jab. The jab.
Yep.
Interesting,
so interesting
pattern. Interesting pattern. For those who don't know, last episode 7, we talked about the Haitian president, right? Yeah, president. Getting assassinated, and how it was interesting that it aligned with his kind of politics on the jab decision. Very interesting.
A few days after, a whole shipment of jabs went to Haiti
from the States.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was denied earlier.
Yeah, it's noticing patterns. We're noticing right now.
Exactly.
But I think back to John Tory and the Lamport Stadium thing, which we'll play a clip from here. You know, we showed a clip off the top of John Tory saying, "Hey, we're working hard for you," you know, as he always says, and then we played the clip of him like kind of being criticized in public here, and him also saying, "Hey, we're working hard and we're handing out money," and then we'll play this clip from the this is video moments. Toronto police move in and begin arresting those inside the homeless encampment at Lamport Stadium. And maybe you guys have seen this.
Set up a line just outside these barricades set up.
All these people are defending those in the encampment, and then the police kind of go in, start laying down the law. And, here, bro, look at this.
It's our tax dollars at work. This is what John Tory meant by 20,000 visits.
Yes, yeah. This is one of those visits, right?
This is one of those visits that we're all getting.
This is working hard for you. And you got the press there capturing it all, getting that footage.
So, with this whole homeless situation going on, I get it. There's always going to be people trying to shack up somewhere, trying to stay and like squat somewhere. We get this. People have been doing this forever under bridges and train boxcars,
especially in city centers.
Centers. Dude, I was at Eaton Center yesterday. Came out the Queens side of Eaton Center, and I was coming from the subway. And dude, I've seen two addicts just laying there on the stairs asleep. And this is, mind you, this is the middle of the day. It's like 2 p.m. in the middle of the day. I'm like, what the heck is going on with the city? And everybody's just walking by them. I don't even know if they're dead or alive. Just drew. And I'm like, should I call? Should I not? Notice one guy was actually moving, nodding back and forth. So I'm like, I got to get to where I'm going. I'm not a bad person, but I can't, call ambulance right now for these guys.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So it's like, it's a combination of things. It's like when you looked at it in the beginning of the year when Trudeau was handing out CERB like candy to anybody and everybody that wasn't qualified or was qualified, I've noticed the trend of overdoses going through the roof, right? With any part of the nation. And then I've also noticed homelessness actually on the rise.
Absolutely.
So things kind of correlate together. The homeless shelters, we should actually get into the bottom of this, if it's at full capacity or not. But I want to know if that has to correlate with all these extra homeless people being out in encampments.
Because you were saying that in the shelters, one of the issues might be because of COVID that they're not going to have. Oh, whoops! Oh no, the YouTube censors are probably going to catch that up.
Okay.
Damn. Anyway, the COOF, because of the COOF, they're going to have COOF standards to say we can't have as many people in the homeless shelter because of the COOF, because of the pandemic. But are you going to try to get them on the phone and see if we can?
Who do you think I should call? Salvation Army or?
Potentially, I don't know.
Okay, so let's
got shelters.
Let's see.
Okay, so
they're an organization, right? So I'll put them on speaker.
We're doing live investigative research right now. We're calling a shelter.
Thank you for calling the Salvation Army Lakeshore Community Church. Our office is now closed.
Okay, are they closed?
Okay,
because of COVID-19, we can't have as many people in here. But I guess the point of like bringing up John Tory, bringing up this Lamport Stadium thing, is they're obviously all connected, but it always seems like there's no kind of continuous conversation of actually how to solve this problem, right? Yeah. Like even the stuff at Lamport Stadium is connected to the way we've responded to the pandemic. And as you were saying, overdoses and homelessness, this CERB that was handed out to people in the in the province of British Columbia in 2020, more people overdosed than died of the COOF. And that's probably like modest numbers on both accounts. Like apparently it's even worse in BC. Like they're going to set a record in 2021 in terms of overdoses. And I mean it's just interesting how like the actual important aspects of this story don't really get talked about ever. It's just the cops are bad. Like cops bad.
Cops bad.
Cops bad. End of story. Moving on. That's the only part we need to think about. Cops are bad. Nothing to do with the shelters. Nothing to do with housing affordability.
Housing affordability.
Yeah.
Maybe even
and these
losing their jobs. Maybe some of them Canadians are like homeless.
I want to bring up part of one of these articles here. Do you want to look that up?
You're gonna call, yeah.
You're gonna call another one? Okay, let's see if we can
call another one.
Get someone live on the phone here.
Welcome. Thank you for calling Good Shepherd Ministries. If you know the extension of the person you are calling, please enter it at any time.
Let's press
For
0,
company
maybe.
directory by first name, please
Yeah,
press
try 0.
Calling the operator. Please wait a moment.
Calling the operator. Please wait a moment. We're gonna find out if there's COVID regulation.
Hi, is this a Good Shepherd's church ministry for homeless shelters?
Correct?
Okay. Are there beds available at the homeless shelter?
Not at the moment, no.
Not at the moment. Are there any beds available that you could find in the city of Toronto?
I can give you a number that would be able to help you with that. I don't have
Okay.
access to that. Yeah.
Quick question.
Pet?
Is it are there enough beds or is it like is there some kind of quota going on or a cap because of COVID? Are the numbers
You mean in shelters in general, or?
yeah, shelters in general, like are they doing social distancing? Are they like not letting as many
that's
people in?
correct. Yeah, that's correct. There usually is shelter beds. It's just how far you want to go.
No, the question I'm asking is there enough beds or spaces for anybody that wants to take a bed right now, or is it because of COVID that you cannot accept as many?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. What's the capacity that you guys are at right now? You guys are at 100% capacity?
50.
50%?
Yeah.
How many beds do you guys usually hold?
We usually hold 50, but now we're holding 25.
Okay. And males and females and non-binary?
It's just males.
Just males. Okay. All right.
Okay?
Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.
You too. Take care.
There you have it.
So they're at 50% capacity now. So imagine every shelter at 50% capacity. This one holds only 50 beds, but now they're only holding 25.
So that's not a big deal. Like, that's not as big a deal right now. But come January,
Yeah.
come December, January, February,
When
the
it gets
cold-
colder and
like,
people don't want to sleep outside, because a lot of people are sleeping outside because, hey, like you're
Summer,
summer
it's
and you don't want to
doable.
be,
Yeah,
around a lot of sweaty, probably stinky
Yeah.
individuals that might steal from you or not steal from you.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
it's
a lot of things that are
it's-
going on with.
It's a hairy environment in
Yeah.
a shelter. You know, you got people who are kind of fill in the blank. They're desperate. They're down on their luck, obviously. And I mean, during the summer, it's a thing where it's like, okay, like doing a tent city is doable. But because of the COOF, 50% capacity, and if you apply that to every single shelter in the city, and you have a lot more people out on the street. And I mean, I hate how it all comes back to the COOF, man.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Though?
It always does. every
Because I
time.
asked specifically, is it due to COVID? Is that the reason why the capacity is so low? Is that the reason why we cannot find a bed?
It affects everything, doesn't it? And when I don't know. It's during the winter. Will forcing people to stay outside so they don't catch the COOF inside, like you know what I mean? Like, where is the health and safety here? What are we talking about health and safety wise? And I guess while we're on that topic, actually, I do want to bring up Mr. Artur Pawlowski, who is a pastor in Calgary, who he's a total Chad epic guy. He has been feeding the homeless in Calgary. He's like dedicated his life to God, and he's been feeding and clothing the homeless in Calgary for decades. And with the new COOF restrictions, they've been cracking down on him. Like, oh, you can't be feeding the homeless because there's more than 10 people lined up to eat your food.
So
this is like a
the homeless
gathering.
the homeless can die slowly is what they're saying from starvation and neglect and from
overdoses,
hypothermia or overdoses.
Here's a bunch of money to off yourself.
As opposed to them and their immune system fighting it off, taking their chance, taking their body autonomy to their own, respective right.
Yeah, we do got to move on, but let's look at this one more time, because I've heard rumors and people have been saying, here are the people right here who are defending the homeless encampment, and I don't know. This is tricky because. It's I've heard rumors that some of these people I'm sure their hearts are in the right place, but other people it's like it's something to do So they might live in like Leslieville, and they're like, "Hey, let's go defend the homeless encampment." It's like you would never. Meanwhile, the people coming from Leslieville would never offer a place to somebody who's looking.
Offer them your backyard.
No, I'm not here to like offer you any food or shelter. I just want to like protect your encampment
and make sure the cops don't break it down.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like, I suppose there's a good intention there, but at the same time, it's not really well thought out. It's not really like, again, political illiteracy. Are these people looking at the larger issue here, or they just want to like, get some good content, or like try to fight a cop and say like they're like some warrior?
Why didn't they go to City Hall and ask the city councilors to open up a new homeless shelter in their area, or affordable housing?
This is the thing.
Or a safety injection site right by their kid's school. Why don't they do that?
And this is the thing. Like that's a great example, because I feel a lot of political engagement these days is this surface level sort of post a black square on Instagram and like effectively do nothing and change nothing. It's slacktivism.
Very meaningless,
everywhere.
but it's very potent when it comes to showing how much you care on the surface.
How much you care on the internet. And I just want to read through part of this article. I believe this was from CBC. More than 24 arrested after city crews clear out encampment at Lamport Stadium. In addition to the more than 24 structures at the encampment, the city said knives, an axe, a hatchet, propane tanks, and car batteries were also removed. The removal of the encampment a day after cleared out an encampment, 9 arrested. Hold on. I want to go to this other one. Where was it? The city said that there were 11 unhoused people at the park, 2 of which accepted referrals to a shelter or hotel program. 5 already had a space in the shelter system. 3 left on their own accord, and 1 person turned down an offer to permanent housing. So that's kind of interesting, especially when it's 11 unhoused people, and there's like a whole like slew of people there to defend them. I guess I wanted to like bring up the numbers. 26 people arrested. And they're saying only 11 unhoused individuals?
It makes no sense. Other than maybe it's the slacktivists that also got arrested with them.
I'm thinking that's the case. In the altercation.
Yeah, in the altercation.
But to be fair, there is people who, like in Kitchener, Jeff Wilmer has co-founded and volunteers at A Better Tent City, a social development center for unhoused people who either cannot or will not use the traditional shelter system. So there's more researching to do to see, what people might be doing to help the situation. And I think that's like, at least you've started an organization, right? At least you're doing something more substantial than just kind of like showing up and fighting a cop and like,
which makes sense, yeah.
Thinking you're solving anything.
Exactly.
But I mean, anything else on homeless encampments? Or
I think we're good on that. But I wonder what's the rate of vaccination, jabs for homeless people. And I wonder what's the rate of like, people that are afflicted with the COOF.
They have safe injection sites.
But how come
for the homeless, right? For the drug addicted on the streets.
Aren't they the most like, what do you call it, exposed to, if there's something out there that's making people drop left, right, and center? Aren't they the most vulnerably exposed because they in essence?
I mean, yes.
Do you really think so? they're hand sanitizing and wearing their masks everywhere they go? And
that's true.
Do you think that they?
But they're
not sharing.
Imagine their immune system though. Their immune systems are probably like these grizzled like.
Their immune system is like probably like an 80s action hero on road.
Don't mess with the immune system of a homeless person, I'm telling you. But yeah, that's Lamport Stadium, and we're going to talk about the hazy skies that have been coming down here to
Canada's
Toronto.
On fire. Like, what's going on? Is it the churches that are making the surrounding areas burn?
So many churches have been burning.
Or is it just wildfires that are just spontaneously happening?
Yeah. I'll read the summary of this one CTV news article. I'm just going to read the summary here. As hazy skies clear in parts of Canada, a warning about what's still to come. The sky cleared across some parts of Canada Wednesday, and conditions improved through the day amid warnings that the wildfire-induced haze will likely return before long. Environment Canada was warning of daily highs just below 30 degrees for Wednesday in such communities as Old Crow. Okay, so I want to highlight this. Expect more heat, droughts, and smoke in most parts of Canada where smoke and haze continue to fill the sky. Environment Canada forecasts that conditions should be clear by Thursday. So it's weird how this wildfire activity, wildfire activity in Canada tends to peak later in the summer, and with Environment Canada's forecast showing warmer than normal temperatures for the rest of July and into August, conditions must be ripe for more fires. What's interesting about this is, aside from something happening in where LA,
oh, okay,
the
California.
fires happening there, aside from that, and then
British
rumors
Columbia.
of the Amazon burning,
Yeah.
before that, have you ever heard of like forest fires happening regularly?
Like crazy? No, not this regular.
Yeah.
Like maybe every few years, California. Maybe every few other years, like BC.
Right. And the thing is, what we have to bring up, this was happening in
The
Australia.
ocean's on fire too. Have you seen that circle like that?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Summon that negative energy.
Okay. We do not claim that energy. We do not.
I don't claim that negative energy from that video. Where this is a safe place, the aura, protection, safety,
peace and unity.
But I kissed my cross. I don't have my cross on me, but yeah, I wanted to bring up Australia, because in Australia there was fires happening like across Australia.
But people were lighting that though.
Well, this is the thing. This article talks about drought and heat, and they were doing the same thing in Australia until it was found out. There's people lighting these fires, and it's just talking about the fear porn on the news, talking about what the narrative spin. It's the climate change. It's climate. It's the climate. It's the climate change. That's where all these fires are coming from. And then, case in point, we obviously need to bring up this photo that was snapped in West Kelowna in BC. Video shows shirtless man tossing burning object into bush behind West Kelowna home.
Wow.
Like, look at it. Look at it. Like, was that climate change? We found climate change. There he is. Look at him.
Caught red-handed.
It turns out it's a shirtless guy
man
in Kelowna.
I think he took off his shirt and burnt it or something.
Yeah. Maybe this is it. The climate change is heating people up so much that they go crazy. They take their shirt off and they light a torch on fire. This is what climate change does to people.
It is the aftermath effects of taking the COOF jab. And it just makes you irrational to the point where it makes you think the only way to get rid of the COOF is to burn it. Burn it.
Right. This is what happens when you get the AstraZeneca vaccine. Yeah. You take your shirt off, you light a torch, and you go into the woods. This is an adverse reaction, if you will.
No, this happens in Canada, so it's the mix and match. It's because of the cocktails. If he had two of the same, JBs, then it would have been okay. But I digress.
Anything else on this story? The video was posted to Facebook, shows a shirtless man walking along a steep bush covered. Okay. But I think this is, look at this. This is from Coldstream, BC wildfire. So, the major point here is, the news is basically saying, it's getting hotter. It's the climate change. And to be fair, yeah, the temperatures are very hot right now. But, when you see a guy running into the woods with, this torch, and when you have the stories from Australia with it being arson, we have to be asking these questions. We have, and this is
going on.
And you know what sucks?
Yeah.
I feel crazy even talking about this. I feel crazy even being like, well, there's people lighting fires in the woods. Because it's like, why would people do that? But when we have evidence of this happening, it's like,
in the past,
sorry, I guess I'm crazy.
Call me a skeptic.
I guess I have to be suspect of people arbitrarily lighting fires.
That's mad sus.
And it's like, exactly. It's mad sus. And let's not be surprised here. Churches have been burning. Not much Not much mentioned.
No,
about
no,
churches.
no.
Actually,
that's climate change. That's the reason why the churches are on fire.
Shoot.
It wasn't man-made like the forest fires. It's just actual climate change.
And I think what we need to also we should have brought up, and I should have done more research on this, but apparently the whole village of Lytton burnt down or something.
An entire village?
Something like that.
Who did this? Genghis Khan? Who's doing this? Genghis Khan is revived? Oh my god.
Let me look this up. Keep our viewers entertained
but
somehow.
This is like, we're going from one fire to another. And we've been having a decent amount of rain in southern Ontario. So like the northern Ontario is where it's burning, but closer, if not to a lot of indigenous communities, right? About 2,000 people living in nearby indigenous communities after a forest fire was started by what authorities suspect was human activity.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I'll just throw this up. This was a first Google results page, so take it with a grain of salt. This is Lytton, a small town in Canada. The town of about 250 people had just minutes to evacuate on June 30th, along with roughly 2,000 people living in nearby indigenous communities after a forest fire was started, but why authorities suspect was human activity. 90% of the town was destroyed. Lytton Mayor John Palderman said. And then look at this next article from New York Times.
It's crazy.
Heat wave spread fire that erased Canadian town. This is the implication that the heat burned this Canadian town down. But if you
New York Times though, yeah, I get it though. Yeah, they're trying to put their own spin on it.
Look at that. But this is exactly what we're saying here, right? It's like it's an extreme. The small town in Western Canada had seen 3 days of extreme heat wave, extreme heat, and it's like consumed by flames. 90% of it was destroyed. And if you go back to what this other people are saying, it's that started by what authorities suspect was human activity. So
got it from the horse's mouth.
It's sus. It's very sus.
Mad sus, bro.
We're sussing out these fires right now. Canada's on fire. Is it the heat wave?
Canada's on fire.
Is it the heat wave, or is it
No.
what would you even call it? I mean, bad actors?
No, it's just
A lot of good actors like Ryan Reynolds come from here, but like there's some bad actors who didn't get into Hollywood and they're just lighting the place on fire. They're burning it all down.
It's all,
I don't know.
It was all a dream.
Hey, we got a super chat here from Viking Insane, $2.
Insane.
Thank you, sir.
Respect.
Hat goes off to you. What do you say? Viking Insane says, what do you say for voters? What do you say for voters? Go for CPC to stop Trudeau? I think anyone but liberal, I think, should be the mantra.
Really?
What do you think?
You're gonna really let the NDP get through that door?
I mean, I just don't. Well, no, but it's like because people are talking should be CPC or PPC. I think PPC has the right policies. I think they have the answers. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, like they have a lot to fight against in terms of like really getting the numbers to actually get in. So I think be really scrutinous of your MP that's in your riding. Sometimes conservative MPs can actually be like decent at their job. But, sometimes conservative MPs can be like really vile and just as disgusting as liberal MPs. And more importantly, sometimes PPC MPs can be like very, very inspiring individuals, and they should be supported, and you should show up to the polls to support these PPC MPs. I think it comes down to the actual MP you're voting for.
Exactly. And holding them accountable for, what you want from them. Yeah. And
I don't know if that answered your question, but I'll probably be voting PPC regardless of what happens. Because I'm like that. And that being said, actually, now that I think about it, definitely vote PPC over the Conservatives. Because let's face it, Aaron O'Toole has like somehow less momentum than Andrew Scheer had, even though there's even more of an opportunity to capitalize on the incompetence of the Liberal Party. So it's like, if there's any time to, try to fight that, or like really show up at the polls, I think it's now. Someone said, for example, Rempel. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rempel scares me a lot, man. Because she's got the charisma. She's like, hey, I got like a cowboy hat on. And then she's like, I pledge my allegiance to transgenderism. And it's like, what? Like, you're supposed to be a conservative from Alberta? What the hell is going on here? She's very two-faced, unfortunately. Hate to say it, but some two-faced conservatives out there. You hate to see it.
It's all because they're scared. They're scared of their livelihoods. They're scared of getting this their prestige taken away, going back to
their pension, their
pension.
That's what
being flung back into the graces of the peasants, and you know what I mean. Like that's what they're scared of.
That's facts. That's such a, like, looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
It's the context that makes the most sense. Why are these politicians acting so weird?
Yeah,
it's like,
well, no pushback whatsoever.
They need to secure their pension. They're like, sack full of money for the rest of their life, and that's why they say the election's going to happen like just after a bunch of Liberal MPs or a bunch of MPs qualify to get that like lifelong pension or whatever. It's kind of disgusting.
Are you kidding?
Because it's like, none of what we just said has anything to do with serving the Canadian people at all. It has to do with securing your own
because
bag
the Canadians
selfishly.
It's because we don't individually like get at our MPs. Like, we should all, like, it doesn't matter even if our MP is a Liberal, if it's any party, you should be getting at them, holding them accountable. Even if it's a Conservative, you know what I mean? You may have not voted for the person, but you still have to hold them accountable because, dude, they're your MP. You know?
Well, it'd be so much cooler if the parliamentary system, like,
it seems like Conservatives just give up after they notice that they're in their riding, that a Liberal has taken over, or an NDP or a Green Party. It's just like, okay, you know what? Wait till next election. No, don't wait till next election. Hold it onto the fire every chance you can get.
Having kind of like been flied close to the sun of politics in Canada, like, unfortunately, you run into like opportunists and just like grifters, all sorts of like individuals who it's like, why are you here? And to the point where it's a rarity to actually find a Canadian MP, someone in Canadian politics who is like there for the right reasons, to actually, what's it called again? Serve the people and do their job.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because it's like the system and like the pieces of the system actually function the way they should, but it's just filled with this groupthink. I think the groupthink is really what's destroying the country, because it's not about liberal values. It's about this like liberal machine.
It's group subservience. It's Stockholm syndrome within our own country. To our own dear leaders.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other psychological jar of worms. But speaking of which, we were just talking about all the fires happening. The country's literally on fire. Bunch of like random people running into the woods, burning stuff down. We're led to the news is leading us to believe that it's climate change or whatever. But when there's people running into the woods, and then we have, speaking of MPs, we have we'll play this for you. This is a recent. People are really seeming to enjoy this. This is Pierre Poilievre with his like campaign style kind of video. Let's watch the whole thing here. It's 30 seconds.
Look at those prices for homes, gas, or food. No wonder we're spending more and making less. We had to spend during the pandemic, but Trudeau's plan to borrow forever means inflation and bankruptcy. Instead, let's become the best place for businesses to build, hire, and make stuff. Here in Canada, make more, cost less. Paychecks, not debt.
Yo, so cool.
Less, paychecks, not debt.
Yo.
Here in Canada, make more, cost less. Paychecks, not debt.
Why does he remind me of the Travago guy? Travago just running around, throwing an apple in the air, catching it, doing different stuff, having like the CGI behind him, and like it's just.
So, I'll do a positive real quick. The positive is that the Conservatives are actually making good propaganda for once. Usually their propaganda sucks. This is actually almost competing with the Liberals at least. But the negative for me is, the
message.
You know what they should have added? They should have added him walking by a church on fire. I think that would have added a good comedic effect. Hey guys, what's with the economy? There's drug addicts everywhere on the street, church burning. Can we talk more about the gold standard and your taxes? And it's like, and this is the whole problem with the Conservative Party.
It's like, who is he talking to? He's only speaking to his base right now. Like,
right.
The one thing I don't get about the Conservatives is they need to there's a difference from what Rempel did, being NWO, transforming from conservative to, sympathetic to liberal values and views, right? So
wait, say that last part.
Okay, again? So you see how Rempel she calls herself a conservative, right, but she kind of is like a blue liberal in a sense when she's going back and forth with stuff. Kind of like Aaron O'Toole, kind of like Kenny, right? Yep. So when I'm looking at Pierre, he hasn't really changed his message. He's always been about fiscal responsibility of what the Liberals are doing and whatnot. But his message is not targeting the people that are NDP that might want to vote for this guy. If he was to talk about also the economy has went down. You know what I mean? People are being homeless or people are losing their jobs. You know what I mean? He could also be talking to the blue collar conservatives a little bit more when it comes to businesses are getting shut down. Restaurants are closing, and you know what I mean? But others are still open. Ma Posh, he could have went along that line instead of only speaking to an elite conservative branch. His message kind of seems tailored to a specific
It's almost like the tradition,
traditional conservative.
They painfully play the numbers game in a sense, and it's we know all of these people have these values, so we're going to speak to all of these people who we know we'll talk about this, that, or the other.
But you're not changing your count on who's listening to you. If anything, you're getting the same
it's really
or less.
Safe.
It's playing safe.
It's super safe, and I think that they're not being nasty enough. They like you said, one of the first times ever, not ever, but the Conservatives could really be playing up social issues in their favor, but they're still being your pocketbook, your pocketbook, and that's it. And it's I think obvious, and I was gonna cut you off earlier, but it's what about social conservatives? And this is the major glaring problem of the Conservative Party of Canada right now, is they have abandoned any form of social conservatism completely, and all they have left is the pocketbook. That's the only thing they can
pocketbook.
Say.
That's it.
And it's guys, conservatives, what have you conserved?
Because you're gonna have a bigger uphill battle with all these anti-capitalist groups, all these people that are saying, death, eat the rich, and all you're talking about is, hey, listen, let's get richer together. There's no other message come on, we all to get a little richer and wealthier, but there's no underlying message that can tie or hook people from a different political background to say, hey, you know what, this guy's right.
Yep.
Should we move on to the jabs? We should be wrapping it up.
No, let's move on to the jabs. Finally, we'll talk about the jabs.
The jab cocktails.
The jab cocktail. So we'll get
the
this
remix.
Clip. Where'd you find this clip? Is this from Australia or something?
No, this is Good Morning America.
Good Morning America.
Yeah.
And the way that Dat Buzz explained it to me is, hey, they're ripping on Canada.
Oh yeah.
So let's play this for you real quick.
Million Americans are now fully vaccinated. Okay, Doc. Now I had to do a double take when I was reading this about different manufacturers. We're talking about getting first doses with Moderna, second dose with Pfizer.
Right,
Is this
and
a thing?
This is news coming from our neighbors to the north, out of Canada. And so let's break this down, because people are going to hear this headline and, of course, start wondering if it's following here in the United States. So in Canada, National Advisory Committee on Immunization announced just a few days ago that it is okay to mix and match COVID vaccines from different manufacturers. They do not make any of these vaccines in the country, so they have to import them all. Part of that is the motivation for this. At this time, 62% of the population approximately has gotten one dose. But TJ, look at this. Not even 6% of the Canadian population is fully vaccinated right now. So they have a major supply and demand issue. These recommendations, however, in terms of the science, does follow similar guidance that's coming out of Western Europe and Scandinavia, saying that it is okay to start one dose from one manufacturer and then get your second dose from another.
You made clear this was not a mix and match situation.
Not here in the U.S.
Okay.
And now remember, our FDA, our CDC has different safety standards. They're evaluating data. Whether that happens here in the future is unknown. Right now, there is no official medical or public health recommendation that we can do that here in the U.S. And remember, the Canadian supply is not what ours is here. That's why they're considering this.
Our bottom line in the U.S., do not run out and try to do this.
No, stick with the same manufacturer.
Stick with the same manufacturer. That is what they say, with the U.S. at least. Same with the WHO. But, like, who's to trust any of them, CDC or the WHO? Health Canada told Canadians they could mix and match, like, some kind of remix or some kind of, like, drink at the pub. And now what we're finding out is that other countries won't allow Canadians that have mixed their jabs.
Yeah.
And it just means that they haven't really been fully jabbed yet. So what are we doing?
What are we
doing?
doing?
Mask on, mask off, jab on, jab off.
Yeah.
Wax on, wax off.
It's I mean, if you don't like the science, just wait 5 minutes.
And it will change. Just like Canadian weather.
Like the whole jab stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Because they flip-flopped on AstraZeneca 2 full times, okay? So they said, okay, AstraZeneca is safe. This is like Health Canada, Public Health Canada. AstraZeneca is safe. And then they said, oh, actually, you know what? It's not safe. And then they said, actually, you know what? It is safe, and the first dose you can have is the best dose. It's the safest one. And they said, actually, well, no, it's not safe. And then I'm pretty sure they've actually said, no, it is safe again. So, like 2 flip-flops. So, 1, 2. Like, they changed the decision 4 times of whether it's safe or not. And then they have the audacity to come forward with anything vaccine-related, jab-related. And say, oh, well, you just got to trust the science. And you just got to listen to us. It's very clear. It's very clear. Oh, is it clear?
Yeah.
You've been changing your mind every 5 seconds like a schizophrenic or something. It's like, it's crazy.
A Jamaican doctor said it best. AstraZeneca? Blood clot! Blood clot! But yeah, like, it's just, the science will always change. Just wait a few minutes. We should get an update, like an iPhone update by Theresa Tam, giving us the new... like, this time you should not double mask, but you should wear a mask on your butt as well, or some shit like that. Like, they'll just mix it.
Let's show this clip from our Lord and Savior, butt face.
Looking at our rising vaccination rates and saying,
looks like Bob the Builder.
Everybody else is getting vaccinated. That means I won't have to. Think again.
Think again.
We're going to continue to live with COVID-19 as a world over the coming years until we eradicate this. And that means there will continue to be cases here and there, including in Canada, in the coming months.
I mean, anyway.
And those cases,
I don't even want to talk about this guy.
Primarily amongst people who didn't get vaccinated or didn't get their second dose of vaccination.
So he's going to blame it on people that haven't got vaccinated or didn't get their second dose. That in a couple months, I'm predicting with my crystal loon that there will be more of this to come. More cases.
It's so like, oh, like, who buys this guy? Who buys any of this? It's just so interesting how it goes from, we're going to talk to the experts. We're going to talk to the scientists. I'm the prime minister, and I'm going to tell you, people who didn't get like, all of a sudden, he's like the expert, like, this is the be-all, end-all, this is what's going to happen. It's so a matter of fact that it's it's creepy that
scapegoating.
How is this guy allowed to even say this stuff?
It's scapegoating against people that are healthy to say that no, you're not healthy because you haven't taken the jab yet. Well, are the people that taking the jab healthy? And if they are, why do I need to take the jab? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, man.
It's crazy. It's
and apparently you're not.
I think
vaccinated, jab-donated unless you have gotten 2 of the same. So it's like, yeah, most of the country has been jabbed twice, but
you know what I love?
How many of that is like, by the books?
What I love about this look of Justin Trudeau and it's like, it sends the unconscious message that like, oh, he's working hard. He's
blue collar now.
Yeah, he's wow, he's got a hard hat on. Man, he must be like buildings. He must be like working really hard.
Construction, like he's building infrastructure for us.
Yeah, putting on that outfit is the most work he's done. All year, probably.
Dude, I think he's done this a lot, just because he's Mr. Dress Up, right? Like he's been doing this his whole life. This is nothing new.
It's pretty like.
He's probably went to one of those pride marches with that on, but no legs or no pants.
The whole thing, like every time listening to this guy, I just want to like flip the table over and freak out. But yeah, and the as we were saying, the WHO was basically saying, oh yeah, you probably shouldn't mix the jabs. Probably shouldn't do that.
Probably shouldn't. Probably is not a good idea.
And I just feel so bad for the people out there because. I mean, I've kind of made my mind up when it comes to this. Actually, I wanted to ask you, are you going to get the jab?
Nope.
Really? You don't have the first?
Nope. No,
really?
I have the first, and I will not get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got him. Yep. Get here. He's unvaccinated. He needs to be sent. He needs to be sent to the camps. He doesn't have his first or his second dose.
Nope.
Get him out of here. He's here. I got him. No, I got him here.
Boom.
Come take him away. Please take him away. I need to be safe. It was nice knowing you.
No. You think that you're going to scare me? I got a Canadian goose with me. Nothing can take down a Canadian goose.
We need to train the geese to defend the
borders. Man the borders.
The unjabbed.
That's how we won World War II with these guys.
But, I mean, you know what this makes me think of? I saw this funny joke on TikTok the other day, which was, what did it say? It said, you know what they should call conspiracy theories from now on? Spoiler alerts.
Yep.
And it's like, that's funny to me because last year people were talking about, the wealth distribution and this huge transfer of wealth happening coincidentally with all these lockdowns and how it's like completely destroying the lower and middle class and smaller and medium-sized businesses cannot compete with these massive corporations anymore.
Yeah.
And how it's created this totally lopsided economy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where we're all of a sudden reliant on these massive corporations more and more. And people were ringing the alarm bells and they were conspiracy theorists and people were talking about jab passports. And they're, oh, that's crazy. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
They thought we were loony.
Exactly. But now we're talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about segregation. Segregation based on jab status. And we're conspiracy theorists again. No, it's a spoiler alert. No. Okay? This is what it's going to look like.
Spoiler alert.
In a few months.
You will not be able to go out to a few places in a few months. There are actual condos in Toronto right now that are telling you that you can't even enter their gym even though you've paid for your amenities. You can't enter their gym without getting the jab. Double time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're stepping up their little, game of saying where you can and cannot go to start fencing off places for the unjabbed, for the people that have been jabbed. You know what I mean? They'll be living a little bit freer than the people that haven't, but come on.
Yeah, it's wild and it's obviously coming and it's really disturbing. So this is a great example of this. I saw this earlier and this is from CNN's Instagram. Folks are supposed to have common sense, but it's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks. It's the unjabbed folks that are letting us down.
Dude,
and
it's gonna come down to a civil. A civil dispute. I don't understand. Like, it's gone too far now. We literally have zombies out here. We have people that will defend and protect this system, and they don't want to go back. There are Karens being born every day, every minute, every hour. If you just have that mosquito a little bit lower than your nostril, they'll call you out on it in the middle of the grocery store. Like, do I know you? Like, are you bylaw? Are you gonna write me a ticket? Then just go buy your pistachios, Karen, and leave me alone. You know what I mean? Dude, I don't know, man. I'm starting to think
your pistachios and
leave me alone.
Like, I know you have 3 masks on. I get it. I get it. You have something to worry about now.
I get it. You wear a mask in your car with a face shield, and no one's in the car with you. I get it.
I get it. Your children are going to have terrible immune systems that are not going to be able to defend against anything, and you're going to be destined to have a bubble life.
No, this is their Call of Duty. A lot of people, you got to realize, a lot of people in society, they haven't COOF, they haven't really, how should I say, excelled at being, and this is where it came from being the teacher's pet, the brown noser.
Yep.
Those people that used to like kiss the teacher's butt back in the day. Now they have opened and awakened those demons, the inner teacher's pet in those Karens.
Yep.
And now they just want to be the teacher's pet for the Govo, Big Daddy Govo.
It's definitely there's definitely this whole like social like policing. This
is what I was made for.
You get to participate in
this is what I was born for.
It's almost like that's.
This is I've been waiting my whole life. Just to be a Karen, and now I am born. Now I can go into shopping centers that are crowded beyond the eye can see, but speak to the one person I see without a mask. Maybe even if I'm on a flight and I happen to catch a 2-year-old or a toddler not wearing their mask, I can yell at their parent, "Excuse me, Miss Stewardess, get that child off the plane. She's not following the rules." It's a kid. We don't care. She's putting us all in danger. Don't you care about your own kid's life? What about your parents? Like, what the heck? So it's my responsibility to care about everybody's immune system now. It's a collective. It's like hive-minded. So, like,
you feel that? That's everyone's grandma on your shoulders. The life of everyone's grandma is on your shoulders.
Feel the power.
It's totally warped and distorted the conversations around health, the conversations around I guess mainly health, because it's now become this like narrow-minded sort of, are you wearing a mask or not? Are you jabbed or not? That is the only things that determine if you are healthy or not.
I have overweight people. I have people that are overweight that have never been on a walk or a gym or a good bike ride in years. That probably belong on 500-pound life, and they're telling me to properly wear my musk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it doesn't make no sense.
Can you see the irony there, folks? And it's not. It's
Karen.
I know that was very fat phobic of us. That was tremendously fat phobic of us.
If you don't agree with me, then you're skinny phobic.
Ooh,
how about that?
How about that?
How about that? Find me outside. How about that?
Yeah, I'm. What am I? I am a pro going for a run. You know, I'm not anti-mask. I'm pro, like, going to the gym.
I'm pro apples over Doritos, and I know we've been speaking about the Inferno and the Cool Ranch, but I'm pro apple a day.
Yeah, apples
keeps maybe the jabs away at least. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's a good.
Eat healthy. How about that? Like,
you just riffed off like 3 amazing bumper stickers. I think apples over Doritos. An apple a day keeps the jab away.
Yep.
Oh my God!
We are descending into the end of our segment.
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to our new channel, the Project Canada channel. Okay,
Mhm.
we're almost at 200 subscribers. We need to make it to 1,000 so we can start live streaming there.
Yep.
This is Dat Buzz TV.
This is Greg Wycliffe.
You can follow Dat Buzz TV on the TikTok. You can follow Dat Buzz TV on the Twitter.
On the gram.
And also on the Instagram as well. We post our different styles of content.
Mhm.
And we do this every Sunday. We do it every Sunday, afternoon, mid-afternoon.
Yep.
Project Canada. We're only on episode 8 here. But yeah, feel free to send in questions or super chats, and we like to respond to them live when we can. But we are going to be uploading clips as well to the new channel. Again, just in the description, just click on that, click subscribe. Really helping us out because, yeah, consistency. We're going to do this. Consistency. Even when they're dividing the country between the jabbed and the unjabbed, and there's a civil war outside.
And the people that are...
We will still be doing...
And the people
Project
that are on
Canada.
fire and not on fire.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But I don't know. What do you think? Is that about it? Should we wrap this up? Anything else to say, really?
We good. I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Other than that, guys, just keep safe. Please do not mix and match if you're happening to get the jab. I hope you don't. But it's all in your hands. My medical advice doesn't go in one direction. You can go to your doctors. You can go to your local Karen. They can also,
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely pro-choice when it comes to
Pro-choice.
this jab.
Mhm.
I would not advise people to get, if you were going to ask me, do you think I should get it or not? My answer would be probably not. Because, even they're saying, oh, well, the risks outweigh the positives. And it's like, well, even if a little tiny bit of these adverse reactions are true, and even if it's like a tiny chance, you are taking an otherwise healthy person and giving them this, the chance of some sort
Getting
of
sick.
reaction,
Yep.
right? So it's like, I personally don't see,
You have a higher...
especially if you have a good immune system
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. I mean, it's once again, we've gone from talking about a COOF and some sort of virus to talking about rules to talking about everyone needs to get jabbed, and now we're in this segregated parallel society. It's gone so far from the original COOF of talking about the actual COOF and how to manage it.
One last thought, though.
Let's go.
You mentioned you're pro-choice on body, your body and what goes into.
I mean,
what goes out
for jabs.
For jabs, right?
For jabs,
For
I'm
pro-choice for
pro-choice,
anybody, so that they can
but-
individually choose what works for them. I get it. Have you noticed that the people that are screaming for you and rearing for you to take your jab are the same people that are pro-choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Absolutely.
abortion.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they'll go against your freedom of your own body, self-governance, to take the jab or not to take the jab.
Yeah, and it's disturbing, man, because it's not only is that the case, but it's getting to the point where it's just like we saw on this CNN post. It's bro, we are casually and progressively starting to dehumanize people who are not jabbed.
Yeah.
So it's not just the faulty logic that you're talking about. You're right. You're absolutely right. This liberal logic, I mean, I don't want to call it liberal, but it's the status quo logic, which is liberal. It's not even liberal anymore. I can't even
call it liberal. It's just disrespectful to liberals.
It's
now.
this weird
classic liberals would be rolling in their graves right now.
Yeah, it's this this is tyranny. This is since when do you just kind of trust these authority figures so much? And I was going to say, for people who ask, oh, should I get the jab or not? It's you can get it, but just know that, you are a guinea pig. Yeah. And that's not even, I don't even think that's that hot of a take to say that. I think just look at
it is an experimental.
The lack of science, the lack of results.
No, the actual companies call it an experimental jab. They didn't say it's for sure and done. They didn't guarantee you anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you look it up, it just says experimental jabs.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the new channel below. We love you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thanks for watching Project Canada.
Peace.
Cheers.
The loom shall protect us from all the fake politicians.
All of them.
From the northern part of Canada, we will be strong again. We will fly with the loons. We will airdrop freedom. From the polar bears in the Arctic to the beavers in their dams. That's
Protect us from the corrupt politicians,
and the
please.
mighty moose.